Yuck. That was not a fun one to end on, or to start with, I guess I should say, as we welcome you here to Phillies Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle, Ricky Vitalico, and Ruben Amaro Jr. And guys, we talked about it in the pregame show. This is a Royals team, second worst record in all of baseball. Granted, they had won 6 straight coming in, but pitchers' ERAs over 6. What was going on with the Phillies?
It's unbelievable. I mean, you can't really say much was going on. I mean, the Phils did score 5 runs. That's usually somewhat enough to win a ball game, especially with a guy like Aaron Nola on the mound. You're not going to score 12 runs a game. That's just not how baseball works. Aaron Nola, once again, he's proven that this inconsistency is not going away during this season. It seems as though every time he goes out there and has a runner on base, things get a little bit hairy. You got to give him a little credit. Early on in the ball game, he had second and third with nobody out, and he strikes out the side. And then after that, everything kind of went downhill from there, and the bullpen didn't help him out on top of it. Junior Marte did not do a good job coming in behind Nola.
And there were some defensive errors, but this one, but you're looking at a pitcher in Lyles for the Royals who had 2 wins coming into this one. His ERA was north of 6. Philly's unable to really kind of make him pay it all, Ruben.
Yeah, they scored some early runs, obviously, with the home run. But for me, when you do not add on, it's something that they just have not done over the last several weeks, where they get a lead and they just don't put the pedal to the metal. It puts a little bit of heat on the pitching staff, because you expect this team, when they score early runs, to continue to score maybe 6, 7, 8 runs. As Ricky said, I mean, you should be able to win the ball game if you score 5 runs. And Aaron Nola was not effective today. Every mistake he made, he had to pay for. Another couple of home runs, some balls that he left out in the middle of the plate, and the Phillies just they didn't play with as much energy as the Kansas City Royals today. There's absolutely, as I said, they don't have any fear. There's nothing to lose for these young players, and they played really good, aggressive baseball, stole some bags. They had a suicide squeeze. They put it all together and played a lot of. They out-baseballed them as far as I'm concerned.
And I look at Aaron Nola with his curveball. He has a very good curveball. There's no doubt about it. But when you know in a given game that's your best pitch, you're going to go to the well a lot. And sooner or later, with Aaron Nola, when he goes to the well too much on that curveball, you usually get that spinner left out over the middle of the plate. I mean, that's one thing that he could kind of get away from. I really think he should add a slider to his rep. I know Ruben will say, well, he's got the cutter. I think a slider has a little bit more depth. It could maybe help him to go along with that knuckle curveball. But I mean, this version of Aaron Nola is what we've seen way too many times this year. Yeah,
it was not a good version, really, of the Phillies overall. We're going to hear from Rob Thomson coming up in just a moment, but let's go back across the ballpark and check in now with our John Kruk. And John, I mean, this is not a great way when you're back home after the 4-3 road trip. You're starting this 10-game homestand, the longest of the season. You're playing teams on paper that you're overmatched with, and then to come out and just didn't have a lot of juice in this one. Ruben's talking about it. It seemed like the Royals just were a little bit, I don't know, had a little bit more pep in their step.
Yeah, it's so hard to figure this stupid game out sometimes when you see stuff that happens. But I will tell you this about the Kansas City Royals. They have a bunch of young kids that want to prove to the manager, the coaching staff, the front office, you don't need to look for my position in the offseason. I'm going to take this thing and run with it. And it just looked like that's the way it played out today. Like, it just looked like they had a little more pep in their step today than the Phillies did. Here's my thought on it. I always love to have a leadoff hitter because I hit third most of the time. And I loved having a leadoff hitter, like a Lenny Dykstra, that would get on base, steal bases, make things happen with their legs, divert the attention from the pitcher to me and put it on Lenny when he's on base. I love that. We know Kyle's not going to steal bases, but, again, how many times does he lead off in a game? He leads off once. I mean, today he got hit, in the 9th inning, he got hit by the pitch. I think that was the second time that he let off an inning. So, look, I think it's more like where people are comfortable, but sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable again.
Yeah, John, before we let you go, Ruben has a good point just about shaking things up. Right now when you see this, team, it seems like they're just a little bit stifled, where they're not piling on like we're used to seeing, especially on a team that seemed like it was due for that exact thing to happen tonight. Would you shake up anything, John?
I don't think so. It's one game, and I know it stinks, and everyone says it. It's the Kansas City Royals. They have one of the worst records in baseball. You should be able to beat them handily, but if it was that easy, they wouldn't have won a game all year, right? Mm-hmm. And so, look, here's the thing. If the Phillies come out tomorrow and play the way they're capable of playing, they should win the game. If they come out like they did today, then all bets are off. You don't know what's going to happen. But, look, right now it's not, okay, we lost to the Kansas City Royals. Now it's like we got to win tomorrow because it's still early enough that you can get over a loss like this, but it's getting late enough to understand that you can't have two of them in a row.
Yeah, sometimes it is getting a little late early on. All right, John, thanks as always. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Yep.
Let's check out these standings. As John mentioned, you got to start putting these together. The National League standings brought to you by the Sioka dealerships. And there are 59 and 51, obviously still sitting in that second spot in the wild card standings. Ricky, I asked you pregame how you felt about where they are. How do you feel now?
I still feel the same. I still feel like it seems like the Phillies have one of these stinkers in them every time they either start off at home or start off on the road after a trip or whatnot. It seems like they do this every time. It seems like they don't show up for a certain game or certain series. And I mean, when I look at this, I look at it first. Okay, you have the Kansas City Royals. Yeah, they were on a 6-game winning streak, but you already saw something like this when you played against the Oakland A's, and that didn't help you whatsoever. You had Aaron Nola on the mound. You're thinking to yourself, well, if Knowles goes out there and throws the ball like he's supposed to throw it, this should be an easy win. And now you're starting to get into necessities where the Phillies have to start winning games. They need to start winning some of these games and put some distance. I mean, because you don't want to go into the last week of the season or 2 weeks of the season where you're either looking up at the wild card, because then it just gets harder and harder.
Yeah, not a great game for them, but as far as I'm concerned, they still have a chance to win the series. And that's what they talk about a lot. That's what Topper talks about a lot. Win the series. So if they come back and bounce back, Christopher Sanchez needs to throw the ball well tomorrow, and then Walker's got to have to throw the ball well. And they're going to have to come up with some big base hits, and they have to stifle this team and try to show them who is a better ball club. I know on paper it is supposed to be a better ball club, but you got to go out there and show it and play it. I have a little bit of a theory on this Aaron Nola thing, because I think he really sort of emptied the tank when he had second and third and nobody out in that second inning.
Yeah.
And he sort of, I saw some of the 95, 94, and he was snapping off that breaking ball. And I really thought that after that, I see sometimes that he gets a little tired after that.
It's a letdown.
It's a little bit of letdown.
Yeah.
And he sort of emptied the tank and worked out a little bit out of the zone.
Yeah.
Try to work out of the zone maybe a little bit more. When he throws the ball over the plate and when he makes a mistake, it's getting whacked, unfortunately, and there's no leeway for him, unfortunately, because he's throwing so many strikes. Everybody's sort of in swing mode.
But that's been the knockout punch on him all year, is that he throws too many strikes. He leaves too many balls out over the middle of the plate. And, I mean, he's smarter than this. And I agree with you that it's on Aaron Nola. I'm watching this team, the Royals, go up there and hit. And they are swinging at pitches a foot outside, a foot and a half outside, 2 feet outside. And they don't change their way. I was waiting for somebody to go up there and kind of start taking pitches. But even Witt, you go as far as Witt, he's swinging at pitches a foot off the plate.
Well, and he got one way out.
Well, he also got a cutter over the middle of the plate.
20 home runs on the year. So,
and again, you have to give credit to that young team. Those guys went out there and they're playing good baseball. They're playing aggressively. They played great defense today. Very impressive to see Witt, what he did at shortstop. He's got a cannon of an arm. All the way around the outfield. They played very well, and they basically beat the Phillies tonight.
The safety squeeze they threw on the Phillies.
I mean, they did a lot of different things to beat the Phillies, and the Phillies are going to have to bounce back.
A couple of starts in a row now. Been kind of shaky, rough for Nola. What did you make of his night tonight?
Yeah, the first thing was some deep counts, getting behind the count. And then, the 2 home runs, just leaving balls up in the zone a little bit when he does. When he makes mistakes, they're taking advantage of it. So, yeah, that's really about it.
What made you decide that was the time to go get him?
Yeah, I just thought after the walk, and he was at 100 pitches, that it was time to go. And Marte's typically a ground ball pitcher, and he left some balls up in the zone too, and it was unfortunate. But I just thought that was the time to do it.
What did you see on the play challenge with Marsh and left field?
Well, we just weren't sure whether it was fair or foul.
Was there someone upstairs that thought it was foul?
No, not necessarily, but the players on the field thought it was foul. So it's no harm in just checking it anyway.
Going back to Nola, you said he's making mistakes or getting hit. Is he making more mistakes than he has in the past? Or is he making the same amount of mistakes and they're just more of them getting hit?
Yeah, I think that's the last part of that's probably true. Every pitcher makes mistakes during the course of a game, and sometimes they wear it and sometimes they don't. And I think this is just one of those years where he's not getting away with mistakes.
Were you wondering coming in today what kind of reception Trey was going to get?
Yeah, because you see all the stuff on social media, but I thought it was great. And I think, in a way, it probably helped him a little bit. He made some really good defensive plays tonight. I thought his second at bat, where he got to 3-2, he didn't chase, and his third at bat, where he got the base hit, were really good.
I think that they actually believe that they can will people to be successful.
Well, I got a problem.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I got a problem. The guy that's hitting 179 right now and is a fan favorite does not get a standing ovation every time. Why is that?
I don't know.
I'm a little upset about it.
I'll talk to the fans.
Maybe
about
we should have
that.
them we should rally for that.
But I think it probably made him feel good. It's certainly, always hearing that, but there was still a smattering of boos because Philadelphia fans.
Well, every time he made an out, they started booing.
We never changed, which I really appreciate because that's the thing, Ruben, you mentioned it. There's an authenticity here, and they're going to support him, but they're also going to show him that they're not happy with him either.
They're going to keep it real. There's no question about it.
Keeping him honest.
They're going to keep him honest and keeping it real. They're going to tell him the truth, and when he doesn't perform, they're going to let him know. When he performs, they're also going to let him know. I know this. He's an accountable guy. I know he wants to do well. There's no question. He doesn't want to be like have the worst year he's ever had in his career. I know that he wants to be a better player and contribute to this team, and at some point he will, hopefully sooner rather than later.
I think this also has to do with, I think the fans know that he's going to be better.
Yes.
It's almost like in my eyes, it's hard for anybody to keep a guy of this caliber down for too long of a period of time. And right now, I think we're well over that period of time. So you're just kind of waiting for him to get into some kind of a groove. Hey, it might not happen during the regular season, but he may pull a WBC in the playoffs. Who knows?
Did you ease your mind in the batter's box when you heard that?
I don't know. Ease my mind is the right thing. I want to perform. I want to help the team win. But like I said, I thought that was really cool, and I appreciate it for sure.
What is your state of mind right now? I mean, it's been even the past 2 weeks have been crazy for you.
Yeah, damn, it's a humbling game, right? But like I keep saying, keep going, keep working, keep doing all the things that got me here. Trust who I am and keep playing well, and it'll come back eventually.
Did you like your at-bats tonight?
Yeah, that third one was really good. I thought that's my swing right there. That's something I haven't been able to do for a while. Is hit that fastball the other way, and I feel like I fouled that exact pitch off 1,000 times this year. So for that swing to come out right there is, I think, really good sign. And kind of been working on that the last few days in the cage and whatnot. So if I can do that each and every at bat and kind of break those bad habits I've had and take that swing right there, I'll be in a really good spot.
Did you know that like fans were talking about, let's cheer Trey coming into the game? Did you know that was a topic?
Yeah, my agent sent me something, and my wife showed me something about that and about the Jimmy V thing, which I thought was really cool, and definitely hit close to home. So I thought that was awesome. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect. They had told me, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Were you wondering, like, you've been coming back home, what reception you might get, or no?
I mean, no, I don't know. I just, like I said, I want to play well. I know, like I said, I know they have my back, and I thought it was really cool. But nobody wants to hear boos, and everybody wants to be cheered all the time. But that means you're performing, you're playing well, and sometimes you need that tough love, right? But But no, I wasn't really worried about that. I was just, like I said, in one play.
Getting back to your at-bats tonight, Topper mentioned the second at-bat, working to count to 3 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you don't get a positive result in the end, but is it little things like that where you have a solid at-bat that leads to that third at-bat where you get the hit there?
Yes and no. I'm real picky, so I took a couple swings in that at-bat where, like I'm saying, is I didn't feel like it's my swing. I felt like it was still just, the second pitch I fouled off down the third base line, and I thought it was kind of a bad swing. And then the third pitch I fouled off as well, and kind of was like a 50-50 hesitant swing. And I just kind of need to play the game, not relax, but need to play the game and just trust myself. And when I swing, and when you take. So there's a couple swings in there, and that last one as well popped up. I feel like I could have hit that pitch, obviously a lot better. So. Hard on myself. I think it's in there, but that's why I really like that third at bat. That's a swing, and I don't think that line drive happened by accident. I think that's good baseball.
You talked about how much you pride yourself on your consistency, right? And you go back through your career, how consistent it's been all the way through the minors, back to college. Is there an experience you have that you can lean on to help, kind of equate to what you're going through now, or is this kind of brand new?
No, yeah, I feel like you've asked me this question a lot. I've never played this bad. Like we talked about, 2018 was kind of what I thought was my worst year, and I would take that year, obviously, over this one any day of the week. But, it's just, it's been tough from a standpoint of when I do something right, it doesn't equate to success. When I do something wrong, it doesn't equate to success. And I definitely haven't put myself in, good situations. But then when I do something right, I feel like I haven't had that luck as well. And I think sometimes that's a difference. When you hit a line drive, you want it to fall. You don't want it, take a right turn and go back to the dugout, or when you make a nice play in the field or get a bad hop or whatever it is, you feel like you do something right and then you don't get rewarded. I think that's kind of been the difference a little bit in the last month or two. And I think that's, it's hard to dig yourself out of that when you feel like you're in a hole and then you do something right and it doesn't always go how it should. But like I said, that's a hard game, so it's humbling, and you got to keep working.
I know you said your mom gives you quite a bit of feedback. Have you heard from her after tonight and all of the events that happened tonight?
Yeah, she said she cried in my first at bat, so I guess fans made her pretty happy.
Thanks, Trey.
Thanks, Trey.
We do want to apologize for the colorful language for Trea Turner, but he was authentic, just like the Philadelphia fans are, and he thought it was very cool that he got the standing ovation. But this is, he was. You could tell it affected him. He heard the stuff about, he said his agent and his wife and his mom, they'd all seen the stuff on social media about donating to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, something he has certainly been a very big part of his life and how cancer's affected him. So this is something that was very endearing, and I thought he felt it. He said, I appreciate the fans having my back, Ricky.
Well, if it helped him out, it helped him out. I mean, I'm not so sure how much that actually helps you out when you're up at the plate, but maybe if he felt better about, his season at that given moment in time, then that's fine. I just think it's one of these things that if this propels him to be great again, fine with me. That's what I care about.
He did 1 for 4. Obviously, he talked about how sometimes it is bad luck, and it seems like he's run into a lot of that. You hit it right at the guy and things like that. But he did come through with that base knock and the RBI. Is this something, between the fan base kind of rallying around him and getting a hit tonight and being at home for the next 9 games, is that something that can certainly help buoy him right now?
I think it could. This is a really tough game. I mean, and it's a very negative game, and the great players can deal with the negativity better than anyone, and they stay consistent, and that's one of the reasons why he's been so good for so long, because of his ability to be consistent. It's not happening this year. I'm sure it's a little bewildering for him because he's never really been in a situation. I think, anything that he can gain from this positively, I think that's a good thing. He's got to sort of take one at bat at a time, one game at a time, and hopefully he can start to build on some things. He had a good swing. He felt comfortable and good about that one line drive to right field. Big 2-out RBI. I think that's important, and hopefully he can build on that a little bit. And to me, it's just about him trying to be more consistent and believing in himself. Even the best of us can lose our confidence, and hopefully he can gain it back soon.
You've been around a long time in baseball. You've never lost your confidence.
That's not true. That's not true, Ricky.
Ricky's never lost his confidence. That's why we keep him